welcome to the 9th episode of Spill the RT. I'm here with Josh. Hi, Josh. How are you doing?
Hello, Eamonn. Yay! We're almost to double digits. Welcome to Spilling the RT, folks.
We're almost in the double digits. Oh my goodness, it's been crazy. Can you imagine? It's been over 2 months since we started this. I mean, amazing. And we've got through so many different stories, seeing lots of people being absolutely lunatics in this damn world we call the art world. But anyway, it's
2024, and it's been a weird world already, and it's going to keep getting weirder.
It has. We're halfway through the year, and there's still time for more shit to happen, I think.
Absolutely. Got a great guest. Ksenija, come on over. Yay!
Welcome, Ksenija. So, Ksenija, just before we kind of get into our heated topics today, do you want to just tell us about what you do and where you're from?
I am Ksenija Afanasjeva from Latvia, and I'm the owner of the gallery Masa Studio.
Oh, amazing. Super. And we'll learn more about your gallery later on in the show. But first of all, we're going to get right to it, and we're going to start spilling some tea. So, Josh, where are we heading to first?
So we're heading to Austria first, my friends. And this is a church in Austria that has, I guess it still has, even though it's been detached, a statue of the Virgin Mary giving birth. And the pictures make it seem like it's a very large work of art, but it really isn't. It's actually very small. I would say it's maybe 2 feet by 2 feet. And the idea is that it's this moment of transubstantiation, right? Of God made flesh, the moment of Jesus being born. And apparently this managed to offend some people because sure enough, a couple days ago, guess what lost its head?
It was decapitated. Decapitated right at the neck, like all of the kings and queens in prehistoric times. But this is, it's like the Virgin Madonna never seen before. And I mean, as someone who has been brought up as a Catholic and who has seen religion from the iconography perspective of fine art history to as a religious artifact, I think there's something about this, for me, looking at this, that it's an empowering thing for a woman to be seen who is doing what a woman does who in a natural way. I mean, she is giving birth to the baby Jesus in this image, and this is the natural thing that happens, and it's like saying this is what happens and this is the reality of it. I mean, we've seen how many pictures and statues and paintings of nude figures of males and showing off their bits as they do and glorifying them. And this is just a real image, a real statue of this happening, but it has been seen as blasphemous across the different people that went to see this in this church where it was exhibited. Ksenija, have you heard about this story?
I heard about a lot of stories about Christians not loving art. Don't you agree that some Christians are trying to pretend that women doesn't have vaginas or not giving birth with them as it was some kind of a sin? Actually, I heard a theory that Mary was just a whore, and to cover her supposed sin, she created a story about the miracle child that was conceived without any intimate contact to avoid being pelted with stones.
It's certainly the minute you inject religion into it, it starts to become much more complicated because I think as artists, we're trying to do one thing, but the audience that receives it, well, they have their own ideology and their own sense of what they think is appropriate. It does seem kind of odd to me to behead the mother of Christ, but hey, that's me.
No, it is. It is odd that that's what you would do. But I mean, there's something about it where I think personally that it's more blasphemous that you would cut off the Virgin Mary Mother's head. Is it and in its place where it is exhibited in a church, and the person who is Christian is cutting off the person who they feel as their mother incarnate, and they're cutting off that person's head.
It's sin itself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Well, they will definitely go to hell.
They certainly will. They certainly will. This is the church where it is exhibited in, and this is a closer image of it. It is quite small, and in how it's presented in the exhibition space. But this was something that the artist had said. Most images of the Virgin Mary were made by men and have therefore often served patriarchal interests. And I think that really sums it up, doesn't it? It's kind of like you have all of this artwork that historically was made by men and that has a male perspective, but this is a female perspective, and as I said earlier, a real perspective of what happened on that really
Real
miraculous night.
perspective. Can it be a real perspective? Or Mary given a birth without conceiving?
Well, there you go.
Maybe she was like, whew, Jesus.
Yeah, but it didn't happen like that. It wasn't that gory or horrific. It was all like it just magically came out into the cradle.
Yes.
I think we move swiftly along from there, and we're going straight into another female sculpturist who is based in America, and she created this sculpture called Witness in 2023. There's been some issues about this in Houston. It's in the University of Houston. Josh, can you tell us a bit about that?
So yes, this was installed on University of Houston campus and apparently had been up for some time. And it was not specifically. It's supposed to be a figure of female empowerment. It's not specific to a particular political point in any way, but it was seen apparently as being pro-abortion, and so it too was beheaded. And the artist has said she does not want it fixed. She wants to see that then become, that's what the piece now is, right? The life of the piece has been changed by its reception in the world.
The issue that a lot of people had was that it looked satanic. It looked like, because of the hair, because of the tentacles that were coming out, it looked like it was something from hell. It wasn't Christian, especially for what it was trying to represent.
If you read the descriptions of what she was thought she was doing, it was just an image of female empowerment, right? Like,
Yeah.
And it was then interpreted as being something satanic, or because of the way that the horns came off the head or something. But it just goes back to this idea that, do you really need a reason to back up your religious view, or are you just going to do it anyway, and then too bad? And I think what's most distressing is there's obviously video cameras. It's on a college campus. So there's obviously footage of how this happened. And thus far, there has been nothing released, and there's been no movement forward in terms of tracking down the suspect.
So can you clarify? So it was made by anti-abortion groups?
No.
No.
It was just literally, as often happens on universities, right? It was a public art display. It's meant to be pro-woman. It's meant to be kind of progressively feminist in a certain kind of abstract way. But the artist herself is Pakistani, so it's not like coming with this direct, linear, Western pro anything. It was more just, here's a take on like women and women's energy. And as we were just talking about with the Virgin Mary, some people, I'm willing to bet, some men said, well, off with her head.
Yeah.
It's easier to talk with women without her head.
I don't know, Ksenija. I kind of like talking to yours. I like yours that yours is attached. I'm funny that way.
It's funny because the artist, she has said that she wants the university to release the footage that we're spoken about. She said that there was a camera on it and has seen there is evidence of this decapitation, but she doesn't want the head to be replaced. She wants it to be a response to what the real people are saying, or what the real response is. And she says, I don't want repair or conceal. I want to expose, leave it damaged, make a new piece, and many more.
But I agree that, of course, it's a woman's choice and right to recognize when she is not ready for a child, or she doesn't want it at all. And yes, it's like it's raising another one question about, do you really believe that fetus fetus life is sacred? But it's like another conversation.
No, but I think you're raising the issue, right? I mean, it's kind of it puts proof to the idea that somehow, women are to be protected, so let's cut off their heads. Women are supposed to have agency, so if they actually try to have some of that agency, let's symbolically, right, remove it. Just to me, it's of a piece.
Woman.
Yeah, woman is evil. Woman is bad. Like, I don't understand how people have these views. I think people in general are evil and bad. It has nothing to do with the particular body it's attached to, right? But these people, they have an agenda, they have an ideology, and everything is framed within it. And this is the result.
Again, just back to this image, this right-wing, horrible, ridiculous Texan person with, it's just, he's the whitest of white males, and he has this most horrific sign that's just obnoxious and insulting and horrifying. And he's really the Satanist person, I think, in this slide.
Yeah, that's true.
Opinion.
His dick.
Yeah, his hat is hiding his horns.
Exactly. You see, and there you go. There's that T-spelt, I think. So, before we kind of move on, we just do a little introduction to Nua Collective. And Nua Collective is an art collective with 20 artists. And what we do is we support artists in creating a space for them to share their work, to share their ideas, to share their voices through podcasts, through articles on our website in the Nua Journal, and through exhibitions. And we have an exhibition coming up in Thurles in County Tipperary, Ireland, called Blackout, and that is our Blackout International Tour, and that is going to be opening on the 2nd of August. So do come along if you are around to see that. And also, we have a new exhibition that is virtual, and that will be opening online at www.nuacollective.com. More information on that later. So, as we continue forward, we are going to now look at the most wonderful artist that has ever come to contemporary art practice, Mr. Picasso, and some of the works that he has presented, well, on his behalf.
This is the Tasmania Museum of Old and New Art, known as MONA. And this is called Ladies' Lounge. This has been an ongoing controversy going on for about a year now at this point. This person she's actually a curator, Kirsha Keachele, I believe is how you pronounce her name. And so this was originally set up where it was no men allowed. It was an art presentation for women, right? It's an install. And if you're a woman or woman identifying, you can come in. If you're not, you have to stay out. That got fought. It went to court. They were told, no, anyone who's a paying visitor has to come in. So they changed it then to a women's restroom, which means unless you're a woman or a woman identifying person, you still can't come in even if you have paid the bill. So now it turns out what they have installed as part of this is a bunch of Picassos, which actually turned out to be fake Picassos. And she actually thought people would catch on to this a lot sooner. They were hung upside down. It was intentionally fucking with Picasso's legacy. But apparently no one paid attention because it was the ladies' lounge.
This was, I think, one of these big hype situations again, where it was like, I'm going to make a splash and let's see if this lands. And if it does, I'm going to get mass attention. And then I'm going to be able to spend $87 for me to actually, or it's going to be able to charge $87 for me to go and see this artwork and charge the world to come and see what is a very exclusive thing just for females. And when they did go to court to try, apparently there was a case brought against them, and it's now open to all.
Exclusive thing for rich women.
Yes, rich women.
But
that's it.
if we take it seriously by engaging in controversial actions, she detracts from broader feminist goals. Yes, because creating women-only space, it's not feminism, it's sexism, basically. And not even saying that by faking artworks and lying about their provenance, she not only missed with the public, but also potentially damaged the reputation of the museum.
100%.
I think that was actually the point. I think this is someone who sees themselves as a provocateur, right? Like the goal is to make a scandal of some kind. And
their
she
goal
literally
is
said
to
that.
make monies.
Yeah, well, yes. But I mean, literally, she said, I had this idea 3 years ago of a fake Picasso scandal. And that's what she thought she was doing. And all this other stuff kind of got in the way along the way, which perhaps reveals, again, more about like the status of women in the art world altogether.
She's making the status of women in the art world seem like something dumb and stereotypically bad. But
I'm glad you said it.
But it's not what feminists are trying to do.
No.
And you don't have to be a woman to be a feminist.
It's not about excluding the male. It's about making sure that the male and female are equal, or that people are seen as equals. And I think that's it. Gender does not matter in this situation. It's about making sure that art is open and accessible to everybody, and that's something that she's completely not doing here. She's excluding
Well,
us.
it could have been done, right? I just think it
Yeah.
wasn't done with that actual political goal in mind. I don't think that this was about being agitation and propaganda. I think this was
Mm,
about, like, how do I build my own career? How do I get notoriety?
yeah.
And that, I mean, in the art world, that's the best way, is create a controversy of some kind, piss
Yeah.
enough people off, and someone will then come to see your show just because they're angry.
All press is good press, as they
Exactly.
say. Yeah.
Spilled.
That is that tea spilled. So that kind of brings us smoothly a little bit to a slightly different topic that includes all of us, I suppose, as art practitioners, whether we are visual artists or whether we are musicians, performing artists. There has been statistics that have come to the front of some American survey that stated that people who are in the arts and in the performing arts are the least employed after doing that as their art major in university. And so with that, I give you this slide of an artist unemployed willing to do whatever it takes to earn a few bob. But yeah, it's a difficult one because I suppose there's a lot of people that have the perception that, okay, I've done my undergrad in fine art, or I've done my undergrad in performing arts or as a musician. And now this is it. Like, where's the work? Why am I not getting paid? Why am I not getting all the commissions? And for me, from my point of view, I always say that, right, you've learned a number of skills. How can you make them work, and how can you put them forward and make it from what you've learned and put them together and make something of it, rather than just complaining and just
Well, it's just,
whatever.
folks, get a job. If you're expecting to live off of your artwork, right? It's just, that's not realistic. Even if you're great, I know lots and lots of fantastic artists in any kind of medium, visual, music, you name it. You know what we all have? Jobs. You know why? So we can do what the hell we want with our art, and we pay our bills with something else. It's
Yeah,
called being an adult.
yeah,
And right, I'm finishing up an MFA. I have no expectation that because I have that MFA, the world's going to come to me. The MFA is allowing me to get a different job. That's the
yeah.
point. Not because now suddenly I'm going to be recognized as a genius. I don't want to be recognized as a genius. I'm not. It's okay. I'll survive. Right. So to me, it's this idea of, like, well, if I get the degree, then somehow there's a guarantee of success,
Mm.
which is just insane thinking. Just whether you're talking about art or not, I get a degree in whatever, and I'm just automatically going to succeed. What world are you living in?
Yeah, I think Ksenia, you're a great example actually of someone who has used their skills to create something out of it and to make something more. And I'm glad that you're on today to talk about this because you've set up a gallery, you own the gallery, and you create work from it, and you create opportunities, not just for yourself but for others. And I think that's something that is testament to what you do, and is testament to what other people should be doing or can be doing if they're in the position to do so. Like, as a creative practitioner yourself, do you feel that this is a fair statement that the American people are saying about the statistics?
There's a lot of unemployed people in America, but in Latvia, I met only artists who are dealing with it by working in part jobs,
Yeah,
and they're getting great at it because in this way they understand, do they need to connect their life with art and do it for the whole life, and then they will try and they will get better and then they will sell. And usually it takes like 10 years, but it works. But if they understand that it's not their thing, they just continue to work in like usual jobs.
yeah, absolutely. You just have to keep going and keep the motivation. It's something that I always say to my undergrads when I teach them. It's that, you are going out to the world and you have to motivate yourself. You have to find your own strength. You have to find your own journey, and you have to drive. You have to be in the driver's seat and not rely on other people to do that for you. And whether that's taking on six jobs, like a lot of us do, to be able to sustain ourselves and to put food on the table and to put a roof over our head, then that's what you have to do. And it's kind of about then, like, passion and love for what you do as a creative, versus whether you're doing it for the money. And I don't think
Not
there's
even the
many are.
money. It's just expecting things to be handed to you, like in
Yeah,
any field, at any time, with any degree. Like that's
yeah,
just not how it works.
no.
And I don't know if it's like generational difference because right, we've grown up now with folks who have cell phones for several decades. We have a world where they've been much more supported and coddled, in my opinion, than certainly my generation was.
Mm.
But I don't expect anyone to give me a damn thing, and unless I work to make it happen with exactly what Ksenia is talking about: long-term planning, patience, right? Like nothing happens overnight just because you want it to. It's
No.
just not how it works.
Cool. Well, that's that tea spilled. Thank you very much. You're getting into it already, because then you have to bring you on
Absolutely.
again. So we are going to our final topic before we move on to Ksenia's work and learning more about her, and we're going to look at the Sex Pistols. What's going on with the Sex Pistols?
So, for those that remember, back in 1977, right, there was the Queen's Jubilee, and the Sex Pistols manager rented a boat and took the Pistols out into the middle of the river, and they played the song God Save the Queen, right? And so what surfaced this week is one of the very original LP pressings of that very first single. And it sold at auction for £24,000, I believe,
Yeah,
which is a good bit of money for something that probably sold originally for what, £1 maybe back in the day?
yeah, crazy money, absolutely crazy money. Now, Josh, personally, when I was there to witness this launch, back in the '70s, and how I was so excited for the anticipation of the release of this. But in my learning of this, I think this is again, look, again, all the way back in the '70s, because that's ages ago. They were still doing these big hype things to try and get attention, to try and get the front page news, to try and get, and then it didn't. Well, it did, because I think there was like 2,500 copies, or maybe 25,000 copies, that had to be pulled from the shelf.
Yes.
And as a result, there was only a number of copies that managed to be given to the record company when they started to close up shop. And so there was only those 20 or so copies that are left, that are in existence now. And I think the previous one sold for something like 13,000. So this is a record-breaking sale that happened with this auction. And again, like, it's just like this big hype. It's like, okay, well, I've got 20 of these. So what is the question we're kind of asking here, Josh?
Well, I think for me, it ultimately is this idea again, because what ended up happening is the London police busted them on the river, right? And
Mm,
so it became this huge thing. And because of the backlash against that event, that's what caused all those original records to end up being pulled and not sold, right? And
yeah.
so I think that that's what we were just talking about in Tasmania. There are downsides to trying to make yourself notoriety or to have notoriety. It blows back in the wrong kind of way.
Yeah.
In this case, it didn't really hurt the Sex Pistols, and obviously the person who managed to hold on to the 20 copies and has been slowly selling them off every couple of
Mm,
years, she's benefited just fine. This is apparently the very last one, so there will be no more for sale this
okay.
week.
Yeah. They take it very seriously, those fans of the Sex Pistols, apparently.
Yeah.
Collectors are ready to buy whatever from old for big money, but listen, all the collectors who are watching now at me, look and listen, please. Buy art from the living artist. Your money and your support will be more valuable and appreciated by living people. Not in 1,000 years, but right now. Please spend your money on art today.
Everyone,
Yeah.
a public
Yeah.
service announcement from Ksenia. Thank you very much.
We love you,
That
Ksenija.
is
You
a
are
round of
fantastic.
applause. Thank you very much. You see, and this is where it's all at. Thank you, Ksenia.
So, with that in mind,
Buy art.
why don't you tell us about your practice and what you do in the gallery, Ksenija?
Why? I am
Because it's
um,
important.
I'm managing to gather people who wanted to give their art to people who wanted to see art, but I don't manage to bring people who want to buy art.
Yeah, I think we all struggle with that, Ksenia. I think in the 4 years, nearly 5 years that Nua Collective are in operation, it's always the same thing. We have a bounty of people who are supporting us, who are looking at us, who are engaging, and who are also like fellow artists. We need more collectors. So more collectors, come and buy art and support us so that I can keep going. But tell us about your gallery. What's happening in your gallery?
I'm making group exhibitions. Mostly it's art salons because it's inspired by 19th century Parisian art salons. A lot of people are bringing their artworks by one theme, and now it's Born Dreams, and it's explores the multi-faced nature of human desires and dreams, capturing their evolution, transformation, and impact on individuals and society.
Cool. Oh, very cool. Interesting. Very good. So how long is that exhibition running for?
Till October 13.
How many artists are in the exhibition?
12.
12.
And are they all from Latvia?
One of them is from Ukraine. He sent his works.
Oh, amazing. Great. Very cool. Excellent. And so when you do exhibitions, is there a protocol for you when you're bringing artists in, or what's the process that you undertake?
I make open call, and something with certain rules. I call the theme, and people are showing their artwork which they think will fit into this theme. So I am, and also I'm just writing to artists I like, and this is how I making mostly the exhibitions. Also, all of the artworks are selling. Sometimes I sell something, sometimes not. So mostly I'm making money on events and alcohol, because making money on art is not stable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you find yourself then as a gallerist having to kind of be like your artists, having to do multiple things in order to stay in business.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of galleries in Latvia have some side hustle, and art is like second thing they do.
Yeah. It is difficult, and trying to sustain that sort of business and trying to figure out what way that works is just entrepreneurial, and I think being an artistic entrepreneur, is a creative entrepreneur, is equally as valuable as just supporting the space for the artist to come and see. So I mean, look, fair dues to you, and like it's another way of looking at what we were talking about earlier, is using those transferable skills. So it's very cool. There's another question I have for you as well, is that is there a way that artists can connect with you in order to kind of potentially use your space?
So they can write wherever in the internet Masa Studio, and they will find my homepage, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. There will be number and there will be email. So if there is no open call, you just send portfolio, and I usually answer very fastly. And if there is no open call, I just say that yes, I will remember you, and I will text you if when the next open call will be.
Great, that's fantastic. And look, we will send everybody a link to your website, and no?
I'm joking. Yes, please.
All right, okay, cool. Right, so I will put the link of the website right here, so you'll be able to see that. And so do click on that and check out and see more about Ksenija's gallery space, and you can find out more details there. And do follow her on Instagram and get to see all of the work that she is doing with the amazing artists. So, Ksenija, we've heard a lot about your gallery space and everything, but how about giving us a few details about what it is that you do?
I'm an art curator and gallery owner from Riga, but it's not just a gallery, it's more like a cultural center. First, you enter and you see the gallery room, and then you go deeper and you discover an event space and cocktail bar. where a lot of entertainment events take place, such as live music every Friday, stand-ups comedy, lectures, poetry, and so on. And this place was founded in February last year with no money, but with a lot of friends who were ready to help. Before that, I was creating exhibitions for 4 years in different locations, but now I can say that this is truly a professional work.
Amazing.
Because I actually have no formal education, I'm not proud of it, but for me, it was easier to learn in the field.
Yeah, that was amazing. That's really amazing. Thank you so much, Ksenija.
Thank you for being here.
Fantastic. Josh, we haven't said it yet, but there's something that we need to say. What do we usually say?
You know what time it is, folks. Like, share, tell a friend, send it to people, subscribe, communicate to the world, go outside your front door and scream, share the art tea.
Oh my goodness, like I can't believe we nearly passed a whole episode without saying that.
We got through it. It's all right.
The sweat is pouring. Anyway, it has been absolutely fantastic, Ksenija, having you here today, and I think we really have spilled some tea. Do check out all of the past episodes on our YouTube channel if you want to catch up. We're like any major broadcaster, so do catch up on our YouTube channel, and you can stream them when you do your run on your Spotify podcasts or your Apple podcasts or wherever you get your podcast from. So do that. Josh, is there anything else you need to say before we go?
Thank you, folks. Thank you, Ksenija. Thank you, Eamonn. Have a good week, folks.
That's all, folks.
There'll be more tea coming.
More tea is coming. Bye.